What is going on, fellas? Last week I posted this video right here where I got a Taurus TX22 with an FRT, threw it in a chassis, threw a thermal on it, got a 28 round mag from Han Solutions, and proceeded to dump 25 of those rounds into a 200-pound Texas hog in less than 2 seconds. At the time of me making this video, that video has over 60,000 views and almost 400 comments. And those 400 comments are divided in 3 ways. 1, that was super cool. 2, that was super inhumane. And 3, what in the world climbed up that tree? And a 4th category commented by only 1 person. Bro looked folded like origami. Gave me a good laugh. I looked that way because it was 4 in the morning and I was tired. Trust me, I do not do drugs. My hobbies are expensive enough already. Now, let's talk about the 3 main categories, starting off with what in the world climbed that tree. Now me, I know the answer. I've known the answer since before I even pulled the trigger. But a lot of you had no clue and you had some pretty interesting guesses. Quite a few of you said chupacabra and a majority of you said a bear. Someone said it looked like a coyote. Last time I checked, I don't think I've ever seen a coyote climb a tree. A lot of people are saying a bear cub. One person's actually genuinely concerned for my safety, saying, hey, that's a small bear cub. You have to be careful for a big mama bear in the area. Guys, in case you didn't know, I live in DFW. I hunt within an hour and a half of DFW. I don't think there has ever been a bear sighting within an hour and a half of DFW. Actually, let me check.
Yes, a black bear was confirmed in Savoy about an hour and a half north of Dallas. It's rare, but it has happened.
I stand corrected, but it's rare. Gosh, there are so many people saying it's a bear. 2 people said it's definitely a bobcat because of the tail. At a quick glance, I guess I can see it, but if you look closer, that tail is really long for a bobcat. Looks like some people are upset because they think I shot a mama hog and those were 2 piglets. Same thing, I don't think I've ever seen a pig climb a tree. A skinwalker. And someone said an elephant. All solid guesses. Out of those almost 400 comments, a small handful of you had the answer correct, and that is a raccoon. You could see 2 raccoons at the feeder right whenever I shoot, and you can see those raccoons run up. If you zoom in, that is the most clear as day raccoon through a thermal image that you've ever seen. I mean, if you've never seen a thermal or a raccoon through a thermal, okay, I get it, because you don't see the puffy tail. All you see is their small tail. You don't see all the hair. So I get it if you've never seen one through a thermal, but some of those answers were just insane. Bears have like the shortest tails ever. How can you even mistake in that? All right, I'm done with that category. The second category, where a bunch of you were commenting that was the coolest thing ever. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe because I have a whole bunch more content coming with getting weird guns and taking them on thermal hunts. All right, now let's talk about the third category where people are commenting that was unethical, inhumane, I'm a terrible person, I'm a disgrace to hunters. Someone on Facebook commented they wish their kids could shoot me with full auto airsoft until I was incapacitated. Let's talk about that category. Now, a few of you commented saying that what I did was completely illegal. I can't use a rimfire round to kill a wild hog and that I should expect the game wardens to come knocking on my door. Respectfully, that is completely incorrect. If you live in Texas, you know how bad the hog problems are over here. They cause about $1 billion in damage a year in Texas alone, and with that comes 0 restrictions. They're really seen no different than a mosquito or a rat. That's why we can hunt them all night long. We can hunt them year round. We can shoot as many as we want. If I wanted to, I can kill one with a 22. It's completely legal. Some people poison them. I kind of do have mixed opinions on that. There are people, you can find videos of people blowing them up with tannerite. We've hunted them out of helicopters before. There we go. And although I do say the term hunting sometimes, I really don't even consider it hunting. I more so consider it eradication at the end of the day. And I don't do this, but I know there are some people that have a full-time job or a career eradicating hogs and getting paid either by landowners or directly from the state, if that really puts into perspective how bad the hog problems are over here. Now, just because something is legal, do I think that it's okay to be cruel and unethical to an animal? No, absolutely not. Do I think that 22 is one of the most efficient cartridges to kill a pig with? No, absolutely not. 223, one of my go-to rounds. Way better option than a 22, even though 22 is like Professor White. 223 is whenever Professor White turned into Heisenberg. If that reference is too niche, 223 is basically 22 that OD'd on steroids. Still a way better option than 22 for a lot of eradication. Same thing with 308. These two are some of my go-to rounds if I'm trying to eradicate as much as I can. But for someone to tell me that a 22 is not lethal and unethical, you seriously need to update your gun knowledge, because I guarantee you none of you would want to get shot in the chest with one of these at 30 yards, let alone with 25 rounds. Some of you think that 22 is just a toy, and that is completely incorrect. Now, is it true that 22 has a lot less room for error than, say, a 308? Yes, of course. But there are two main factors: shot placement and penetration. If I can put this in the right spot and it can penetrate deep enough into the vitals, this is a guaranteed killer. I have shot at 4 other pigs in my life with a 22, and I have killed 4 other pigs in my life with a 22. I've killed 3 pigs with this Savage that I built out. I have a full video on this. I can ring steel with this thing at 500 yards. It's an absolute tag driver. I have folded 3 pigs in their tracks using subsonic round nose CCI standard velocity ammo with a 22.
3, 2, 1.
And I killed a pig with this Ruger Mark IV 22 pistol at 30 yards, dropped them in his tracks with some CCI mini mags, had a thermal on here. And for you haters saying that was too much recoil for a 22, I wasn't even holding this thing. I had it clamped up on a tripod around the grip, so I couldn't have any external movement or shaking from my end, and the only thing that I touched that was part of the gun was the trigger itself by just me pulling like that, and it just caused a lot of vertical movement from the recoil since there wasn't a decent grip on here. But all of you guys are saying you can't kill a pig with a 22. I've killed 5 pigs with a 22, 100% success rate. I mean, give me a break. Now, granted, those other pigs I shot in the head or in the neck, immediately dropped them. With this one, I shot from the front of the shoulder to the back of the shoulder, just from it spraying all the way through. And you guys think that he ran 400 or 500 yards and suffered for 5 minutes before he died. But I'm the one that actually went after him. He went from the feeder to the tree line that was 15, maybe 20 yards, and then you guys stopped seeing him once he went into the trees, and you think he went way further. He only went maybe 20 or 30 yards into those trees and died right there. I guarantee you he died within 30 seconds of getting shot. So he ran 40, maybe 50 yards before expiring, which I would say is fairly ethical and humane. For reference, I'm a big bow hunter, which I would say is very socially acceptable. Which one? That buck right there, he scored 135. I shot him last season with my buddy Kyle and Brady with my bow. Perfect lung shot using a brand new Sever broadhead with some stupid sharp blades. Expanded on impact, went through both sides. That buck ran 80 yards before he expired. I've done the same thing bow hunting pigs. Well-placed shots, they run just as far. I've even shot pigs with my 5.56, my 308, my 7.62 by 39, my 6.5 Grendel, all in the vital lung area, and I've seen them run further than that TX22. If you look at some of my other videos of shooting at sounders, or you look at anybody else shooting at sounders, you have one good shot, and then after that, all those pigs are on the run. In a perfect world, yes, I'd be going for straight headshots on every single pig and folding every single pig on the run, but that's just not realistic, unless you're like Chris Kyle. In real life, you have one good shot, and then after that, you're just trying to hit center mass on all those pigs. And if I hit one in the gut or in the leg, and I know it slows them down enough till I know they're not going to leave the field, I'm going to move over to the next pig that I know is about to leave the field, take care of that pig, and then come back and finish that pig off. If anything, I would say that sounds even more unethical, and I think having a 22 and waiting for the most perfect conditions, 30 yards away, shooting as many shots as possible one time, I would say that's 10 times more ethical than what most hog hunters usually do. Yes, I do understand that this is not the most efficient weapon out there to go kill pigs, and I don't advise most people to use this because I know most people aren't good shots. But you have to understand that I spent 9 months fine-tuning this exact gun to make it as accurate as possible and as reliable as possible. I started out trying to sight in at 50 yards. I realized those groups are too big. I'm still trying to be as ethical as possible. I moved up to 30 yards. I'm shooting decent groups. I know if I'm in the perfect conditions, I can walk up to a pig 30 yards away and I can dump 25 rounds reliably, because it took me 9 months to figure out how to make this thing run reliably, because this thing is so unreliable, honestly. And you have to hold it the right way. There's so much behind the scenes that you guys don't know that I actually spent trying to figure out how to make this as ethical as possible. And after all that, some people are still just going to see, oh, he used a 22. Oh, that pig ran off. That was an unethical shot. Newsflash, if you shoot any animal with any caliber around the vital lung heart area, 99% of the time it's going to run off unless you shatter its shoulder. And even then, it's not going to die any faster. It just can't run off anywhere. Guys, let me know down in the comments below, have you always been on my side? Did this video possibly change your mind, or do you still think that was an unethical shot? I'd love to hear all your thoughts, no matter what they are. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.